Okay, so the Ramattra trailer is about to drop. I'm going to react to it right now, like every other reactor YouTuber will. So, but forewarning, it's live. I have a slight idea because there was some leaks possibly. Let's see how accurate they are. But keep in mind the leaks was somewhat. The leaks I saw were based off of Korean translation, so they're a bit off. So we don't have a full understanding, but this is gonna be important to see how he looks in game. Here it is. Oh, never mind. I have to wait 5 more minutes. Thank you, Overwatch. Okay, chat. How are you doing? Live chat. Unfiltered reaction from live. All W's. Oh my god, I saw lotion in there. What the fuck? Okay, 10 seconds. Let's see how Macho looks in game. There we go. So Matra, how do you do?
I do not fight for myself. I never have. Together, we are unstoppable.
Goddamn, okay, stand stuff.
This is not my victory. It is ours. It's
Oh, goddamn.
You are finished.
Holy shit! That's his Omnic form? That's a Nemesis form, isn't it? Oh my lord.
We're one. Fight with me. Fight until you fall. I will break before I yield.
That's his ultimate?
They will be annihilated.
Holy shit! Mickey Mercy kneel?
This is justice.
Oh, wow, okay. Wow. He looks kind of nutty. Alright. Nothing after? Yeah, nothing after. Okay. So let me break this down a little bit. So, okay, so first thing first is his primary shield, I guess. So, it's kind of like Sigma and a Ursa shield back in Overwatch 1. He can place it anywhere, but he has to place it up in that one spot, it looks like, with that area of effect thing here. So boom, place that shield. So it's not like Sigma where you can just move it at will. He has to direct it somewhere first, like Orisa. Then he can do whatever. But he can also still shoot while doing it. This is his primary fire, I guess. Boom, boom, boom. You shoot people. You punch Kiriko because fuck her. She's Chamber in Overwatch. So this is literally just... Okay, so shield again. More primary fire. I don't know how much damage. We don't know anything other than the abilities themselves, kind of. And then there's this. So this is supposed to be... Okay, this is supposed to be a slow. And if you're flying in the air, you get yoinked fucking down. So it slows them, deals damage, and then you can see Echo just gets pulled down. You'll see more of that later. Boom. And then this is, I think, his Nemesis. Yeah, that's Nemesis form. So, from what it looks like, he does primary, like, he can punch you, but at the same time, he also shoots out these little shock, like, punch. Dude, that actually is gonna be insane. And then he has a block. So, kind of like Doomfist looks like. We know how to deal with that, so that's not really an issue. To add on, he has arguably a way bigger hitbox. So that shouldn't be too big of an issue. Because with Doomfist, he's more mobile. This guy's a lot more stationary. And a bigger hitbox, so it's an easier target. he really has four arms. He with two of them, he's crossing his hands. He's really not trying right now. But then there's this. He just literally just hops out immediately. So based off the Korean possible leak, again, it's the Korean, so it's poorly translated. He transforms into Nemesis for about 8 seconds. So it's either he can turn it on and off at will, or it's a cooldown based transformation where you have to activate it, then you have it for a certain time, and then you can turn it off. So kind of like Bastion's kit, basically. But then he pops it. So from what I understand from the Korean leak, it is as follows. He immediately transforms into Nemesis. In this case, he transforms into Nemesis then ulted, but if he ult while in Omnic form, he supposedly immediately goes to Nemesis. And this giant ass area is basically a reverse Zenyatta trans. So you can pummel people while in Omnic form, and it literally just saps everybody. It literally just damages everybody in AoE. But the longer they're in the AoE, the longer the ultimate lasts. So you can technically stay near people indefinitely and have an indefinite ult while just pummeling people, and they'll all take damage. And then here's another example of that stun he has. So where he just yoinks Mercy. So okay, so that's good to know. He has access to that on in the Nemesis form. He just yoinks Mercy to the ground. God damn. Okay, I don't think my stance on well from gameplay wise, looking at it, I think a lot of it depended on how powerful. Okay, so of course depending on numbers and depending on this guy is going to be a very very good Sigma alternative. Right now, he kind of seems like more a Ressa 1.0ish than Sigma, to be honest, because it's not like Sigma where you can just push out your shield anywhere and instantly retract it. You have to go and place it in a specific location before it's actually usable, and then you can fire. So, in cases where you're gonna get brawled up close, well, then you have your Nemesis form, but his poke might be a bit weird, and in other cases, it might be easy to just play Sigma and poke people because you have your rock and it's easy to place your shield. And there's also the time you have it takes to place that shield as well. Because what is that? Boom, boom. Like half a second or so? I don't know. I think it's going to be kind of like Orisa 1.0 in Overwatch 1. Well, obviously there isn't going to be double shield, but also what's the range on that thing? Okay. But, and that shield is very small as well. So it's not even meant for poking. It's literally meant, okay, we're going to block this damage over here in this specific area. So it's like Sigma where you can block a whole area for your team. You're blocking a specific pathway, like here. It's not very big. It's no bigger than Sigma Shield, which is already pretty small. It's not as big as the other shields in the game. That shield is not going to be used for engages, for like engages like Sim. It's going to be used to block off. So let's say there's a soldier on the high ground, or a bunch of people in a certain area. You're going to block that up close damage. You're going to place that shield near them, because if you place it near you, it's going to be harder for you to block more damage. If that makes sense. I don't really see this impacting the character's kit that much, other than the fact he has a slow. Right now, I think the only character that has an AoE slow and tank. Actually, is there a tank with an AoE slow? Yeah, this is the only tank with an AoE slow. So here's my hot take without seeing any numbers in the game. Cooldowns, damage, range, etc. This guy is going to be very powerful. And it's also going to be based upon him knowing when to use his Nemesis form. So, if you're far away, your main objective is to just poke them out. You're going to mainly run poke comps here. So, double snipers, whatever the hell you want to do. Maybe you want Junkrat spam, who knows? You're going to poke them out from range and when you're in this form. And then you're also going to use a slow to keep them in certain areas and choke points. Because I don't really see you using this to pull flying characters off the ground. Because this is only three. Mercy and Valk, Echo and Farah. And that's going to be hard to land on those characters. So I don't see, it's just mainly going to be used for slow. The yoink down is just an added bonus here. However, let's say there's a Reinhardt or a Monkey bar mushing your team or your backline. That's when you pop your Nemesis form. You're gonna brawl, you have more HP, you have a block. And then you can also, from we can see here, you can use your stun slow while in Nemesis. So you can use that to help slow them down in the middle of, let's say Monkey dives your Ana in your backline. Pop that slow, get in your Nemesis, and punish that Monkey for diving in. Because he's going to be slow. It's like how you use Sojourn slow. Or maybe Ryan just charges in and presses W, you pop your Nemesis. But then again, we don't know if that goes through shield, so we'll see. And then I think, so again, I think the main reasons that people will pick this character over others, varying on numbers, is A, his slow, which I've already talked about a lot, and B, his ultimate. Right now I'm seeing a pattern where a lot of the character's power is in the ultimate. For example, Jungle Queen, before Kiriko came out, had the strongest ultimate in the game. Because it anti and bled. It just did so damn much. It literally won team fights before Kiriko was in the game. But this Omnic AoE reverse transcendence is also the second main draw to this character, because you literally stand in an area, you just stand. This is basically easier Reaper ult. You just stand in the area, and you get free damage off, and you have more HP, and it lasts indefinitely. I think that's the biggest takeaway here. If it was just like Reaper ult, where it's just only for a few seconds, I don't think it would be as powerful. But the fact that it lasts as long as there's enemies in that direct area, it just passively damages them, is going to be extremely powerful. Of course, you can just kill Ramattra or just get out with Lucio's speed boost, but then again, he has a slow that'll slow you down, so that could negate that. And then he has a block that gives him damage reduction in this form. So it's going to be interesting to see how like impactful this ultimate. It can be very impactful in the right scenarios. Like if you're on, like, let's say this is a King of Hill map, right? You in that inside area, you're trying to fight for the point. It's 99 to 99. Ramattra gets his ult. You basically lose that fight unless you have Transcendence or a beat or something that can allow you to out heal that ultimate for the entire fight. Because Ramattra has it as long as he's doing damage. So unless you have something that'll help you outlast or kill Ramattra immediately, you lose that fight because you're just getting passive damage from just fucking existing. So this is going to be very interesting to see in game. I could see this being a character where people just fucking suck at him because they don't know how to manage the form, but those who know how to manage the forms could be good in a lot of scenarios. I guess, like I said, we'll see in game. But let me see if there's anything new. Hold on. Okay, this is the official kit. They just released it on Twitter 9 minutes ago. So go back to the trailer. Void Accelerator. Fire a stream of projectiles in a fixed pattern. And then create a barrier at the targeted location. So that's his primary fire and secondary fire. Okay, so this right here is the shield. Boom. Create barrier at fixed location. And then this is the void accelerator. So you see it's firing the beams in a fixed pattern. So it's kind of like, maybe it's like a spray pattern that's a beam. So think of it like May, I guess is the best way to think of it. And then Nemesis form. So boom. Ravenous Vortex. Fire an animal which explodes when it hits the ground, spreading a damaging field. Affected enemies are also slowed and yeah, like I said, like I thought, like the leak said. Alright. So like I thought, this is gonna be very hard to hit on flying characters, so you better off just using it as a slow. The pull down is just an added bonus. Punch forward, creating a wave of energy with every swing. So he does a punch and a burst, and then he has a block. Significantly reduces damage taken from the front and reduces movement speed. So Doomfist block, we know that. Okay. I think that's about it for what we know. I don't think there's any gameplay. Let me see. Yeah, and there's nothing new. So this is gonna be it for now. In my opinion, Ramattra is gonna be, if I had to place him in the meta, oh, we'll see what the the season 2 patches are, but he's gonna be very powerful when you play to your proper strengths in each form right. This is a high skill tier hero. This is higher skill than like Ryan, Sigma, but this is lower skill than characters like Doomfist and Wrecking Ball, because they just suck right now. I'm excited to play this character once he drops. Alright, so this is, I just made this quickly. I'm not like pro, but I have good understanding. This is what I think. I just put this up together quickly. I didn't think much about it. If I wanted to make a better one, I would do one later on. But for the sake of this, real quick, if I had to place Ramattra without seeing any numbers, very, very quickly, I think, at least in this version of Overwatch, we don't know the Season 2 patch notes yet, but in this current state of Overwatch, I think I would put Ramattra second options. Because he's going to struggle against Zarya a little bit with the bubbles, but good Zarya's still pain in the asses. He can still get beamed, but on the same front, he can outrange and block it with his shield and block. Winston and Hog is just very strong. I don't know how Hog became this strong this fast, but sure. And then Winston can easily still dive him as a team if Ramattra doesn't manage his cooldowns properly. Winston jump is on a shorter cooldown, I assume, than Ramatra's Nemesis, in which I assume Nemesis form is on a cooldown. Echo's always going to be busted. Sojourn needs to be nerfed right now. Reaper is just a good tank buster. And especially against Ramatra if he's in his Nemesis form, because that's a beefy hitbox. Sombra is still Sombra, Tracer is still Tracer. Ryan, Sigma, Orisa, they can. It's all about cooldowns with these guys. A lot of it is based on, okay, can you manage your cooldowns and forms properly with Mamatra, and how well can you play into their strength versus these characters? In which case, Mamatra does a pretty good job against most of the cast. Then, if assuming, and if I had to take a quick guess at the meta, it would be, I assume that characters like Sojourn are gonna get nerfed in Season 2. Brigitte might actually get buffed. Yeah, I can see Brigitte getting buffed. I could see Symmetra and Torb deserves buffs. Ball, Doomfist deserves buffs. Reaper would be good. I don't think Cass could get buffed, but it doesn't work well with Matra that well. Reaper's fine because he's just meant for to be a tank buster, just sit in the back line. Kiriko could get nerfed. So I'm not gonna pick Kiriko in here. I will pick Brig. Jojo's getting nerfed. I'm not gonna put Adder in here. I think if I had to pick the last two in a possible meta snapshot for Amatra, it would be Lucio. It would be Lucio, and you can like pick, like, for example, you could do Sombra still. Very hard to do here. Soldier could be good in some cases. Sojourn's gonna get nerfed to the ground. Nerf that Orgun. If I had to pick the last DPS slot, I think Reaper's a must. Brig, Lucio is very good. You could sub Lucio for BAP, and that will be fine. Don't think Zen will help here because he's just too damn diveable. And I think Brig works way too well with a whip shot. So, and the rally's really good. Just drop, yeah. So, it can be either Sombra, Soldier, or... And again, this is under assumption there are buffs for the proper characters that need them, and thus the proper character needs to be nerfed. Ashe. Those are my picks, because Ashe can throw a dynamite over that shield. She has bomb, good burst damage, good poke damage, Coach Gun to get away, and then the rest of the team has the ability to protect her. So that's my meta snapshot, I guess. Those are what I think could be good team comps with Matcha. And until next time, until next time.